afternoon and welcome to News Around Africa on Channel 38, Facebook and YouTube channel. Dozens of Congolese health workers at the epicenter of an Ebola outbreak have gone on strike to demand payments for their wages as aid workers warn the disease is still spreading at an alarming rate. Health workers in Bunia, the capital of Ituri province, which accounts for nearly 90% of Ebola cases in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, are the latest group to walk off their jobs since protests over pay began weeks ago in the country. Protesting at the governor's office in the city on Thursday, they said they have not received wages and bonuses since the outbreak was declared in mid-May. With this way of managing things, Ebola will not end in this province, Edugi Makosi, one of the protesters, told the Associated Press news agency. We ask the authorities to get involved at all levels so that a solution is found quickly. Officials have in the past blamed logistical issues for the payment delays. Congolese authorities did not immediately make comments on the claims. Poor welfare for frontline workers has been a key source of concern in the outbreak spreading in one of the DRC's most remote and vulnerable areas, ravaged by conflicts between armed groups. Several health workers and facilities have been attacked by rebels and angry crowds. The walkout took place as confirmed cases in the outbreak reached 3,973, including 1,801 deaths, according to the latest government data published on Thursday. It is the second largest Ebola outbreak on record, behind the 2014 to 2016 West Africa outbreak that saw more than 28,000 cases, including excess of 11,000 deaths. Government data shows 674 patients are currently in isolation, most of them in Ituri. At least 75% of contacts were being traced after their exposure to patients, the data showed. Officials expressed concern that 60 to 70% of the new cases were coming from outside those contacts and were mostly from remote localities where rebel conflicts and mining-related movements limit access. World Health Organization Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus urged authorities to prioritize care and support for the responders during a visit to the DRC on Wednesday. The medical charity Doctors Without Borders, known by its French initials MSF, said this week that the outbreak is still spreading at an alarming and unprecedented rate, and that the response, which has been expanding with more steps, is still not reaching communities quickly enough to break transmission chains. Deputy Medical Director for MSF said in a statement on Wednesday, "Every day, loss allows the virus to stay one step ahead and more lives to be needlessly lost. DR Congo Ebola epidemic becomes world's second largest outbreak." Officials declared the outbreak the fastest spreading ever, warning the world to pay more attention. The Confederation of African Football's Executive Committee has unanimously confirmed its support for beleaguered FIFA president Gianni Infantino, at odds with its counterparts in Europe, North America, and Asia. On the day, UEFA said it is committed to boycotting future World Cups at all levels, while Infantino remains in office. CAF's top decision-making body late on Thursday sided with the FIFA president as he seeks re-election in March next year. CAF makes up of 54 of FIFA's 211 member associations and is a powerful voting bloc that has largely supported Infantino since he took office in 2016. The CAF Exco unanimously reconfirmed its support for FIFA President Gianni Infantino and thanked him for his support for African football over the years, CAF said in a statement. CAF President Patrice Motsepe welcomed FIFA's pledge to renew the processes that led to controversy which caused the fiercest revolt of Infantino's tenure, as national federations complained they had been sidelined over the abandoned proposal to sell a slice of the World Cup's commercial future. CAF welcomes and endorses the joint update by FIFA President Gianni Infantino and Secretary General Matthias Grafstrom. Motsepe said, but stressed the need for good governance and transparency in global football. We are committed to continue working together with FIFA, its member associations, other football confederations, and stakeholders to safeguard and adhere to governance, due process, and transparency global best practices, and to contribute to the development and growth of football worldwide. Months after floodwaters tore through his neighborhood, Joacim Pinto still walks past the empty plots where his crops once grew. The ground that once gave his family food and income now stands as a reminder of what was lost. His livestock disappeared, and the gardens that provided food and security were swallowed by the floods. But for Pinto, at 50, the disaster did not end when the water receded. For the residents of Xai-Xai in Mozambique's southern Gaza province, surviving the floods was only the beginning of the struggles. We either die from the floods, or if we survive, hunger takes over, Pinto tells Al Jazeera. The flood swept across Mozambique from late December 2025 into early 2026, leaving communities like Pinto's facing a second crisis, finding enough money to buy food after losing the ability to produce much of it themselves. The floods destroyed our wells, pipes, livestock, and gardens, Pinto says. The price of basic food increased sharply. Mozambique is still recovering from one of its most damaging flood seasons in recent years. The disaster affected communities across several central and southern provinces, including Gaza, Maputo, Inhambane, Sofala, and Zambezia. For farming families, the destruction was immediate. Fields disappeared underwater, harvests were lost, and roads used to move food between farms and markets were damaged. That's all we have time for on this edition of News Around Africa, and I'm Esther Wilson.